Before starting the video, there are two major things to consider for F2Ps. First, how much does it improve the ultimate, and second, how critical is the purple 5 star. Those are the two main things to understand while pulling Chaos. Child Emperor. His ultimate attacks all enemies with 250% attack damage to increase 300% and reduce max HP of the target by 20% to 30% with Chaos, and his passive increase crit rate 25% to self and same row for 2 rounds, and his extreme 5 star passive increase crit up to 30%, and purple 5 star passive just increase crit 35% to self and same row for 3 rounds. He is the strong AoE DPS in SSR Plus beginning era. If you don't have a strong AoE DPS, then you might get him since you need strong AoE carry unit, and also he provides immunity against burn, force field, injury, internal injury to self and his row, which makes him supportive for allies. And if you like follow up, then he has a dog robot that does follow up. As for Keepsake, if you really want to make him stronger, then go ahead, pull his case. He will be the best guy for you, but I suggest for F2Ps to save their case for better SSR Plus because upcoming SSR Plus are more stronger than him. Boros. Attack a column with 5 consecutive strikes for 1300% attack damage to increase 1500% and also increase crit damage of ultimate by 40% with Chaos. And the player who doesn't know what is crit damage, crit means the attack will deal more damage than a normal blow. Let's take a look at his passive. When allies restored HP, Boros healed for 60% of this value and triggered up to 6 times per round, and extreme 5 star passive heals 80% and triggered 7 times, and purple 5 star passive heals 85% and triggered 8 times. He is strong super high column DPS with healing passive. It helps for survivability. He is a PvP unit and need high investment and Chaos for max damage. He is not recommended for F2Ps. As for Chaos, must get his Chaos for more damage and increase crit damage by 40%. But this guy is not for F2Ps, so just stay away from him as with Chaos. Finally, our champion has arrived, the Carnage Kabuto. This is the first and most get Chaos character for all players. This guy is insane. First look at his ultimate. He attacks a single target dealing 35% of max HP as a charge up damage and giving himself uncontrollable. He will chase with ultimate when enemy makes a move, chasing up to 2 times per turn, and after ultimate he gives himself continuous heal for 1 turn with Chaos. And his passive, this is the most important part. After taking damage or being defeated, reflect 50% incoming damage as extra damage to 4 random enemies. And his extreme 5 star passive, reflect 50% damage to all enemies. And purple 5 star passive, reflect 60% to all enemies. This is what makes him stronger. He is a super tank. His ultimate deals charge damage and healing with Chaos. Great for both PvE and PvP. Best SSR Plus for F2Ps and all. As for Chaos, it's a very high recommendation for all players. King. His ultimate costs 0 energy. It will inflict fear to all enemies and steal 2 energy for 1 round and reduce resilience and tenacity of 3 highest HP enemies by 40% and heal for 2 allies with lowest HP by 300% of their attack. And his ultra ultimate increase up to 3, and 3 highest HP enemies to all enemies. HP reduced 40% to 50% and heal allies 2 to 4, and his passive increase row speed by 90% of King's speed even if King is dead, and his extreme 5-star passive increase own speed by 16%, and his purple 5-star passive increase own speed 20% and increase row speed 90 to 95%. He is a speedster for hero side. He has more speed than Sonic version 2 due to the SSR Plus version. Needs 0 energy for ultimate, support heals, seal 2 energy with chaos 3 energy. He is a PvP unit and summon drones for sharing damage as well as for follow-up damage. As for chaos, must go for it, and always remember one thing, never ever miss any speedy character's chaos. This guy is not for F2P players due to his speedy abilities, and he needs good speed gears even if you have him, but you will not compete against well speed, so it's up to you. You can pull him if you like, and also must get his chaos too. For F2Ps, just skip this SSR Plus, and there are better SSR Plus are upcoming. Geryuganshoop. His ultimate requires 0 energy and deals 5 hits with 120% attack to all enemies and grants specialized berserk to allies in the same row for 1 round, and berserk damage dealt by 200% of Geryuganshoop attack with chance of crit, and also berserk damage reduce 150% energy from your team. And what is his ultra ultimate do? He just increase 150% attack and grant berserk to all allies. And his passive, when battle begins, reduce attack of all hero enemies by 30% for 1 round, and second round grants himself 35% injury damage free. And what is his extreme 5-star passive do? Reduce all enemies by 30% attack for 2 rounds and grant 45% injury damage free. And purple 5-star reduce all enemies by 40% attack for 2 rounds and grant himself 50% injury damage free. He is the must pull character due to his core ability and base score for PvE and PvP. Great utility and supportive for the team. As for chaos, his case is good. He provides berserk to all allies but reduce 150 energy points. His case is recommended for P2Ws, not for F2Ps. For F2Ps, there are better upcoming options. Finally, here is the second must get character case for all players. His ultimate deals 3 hits, 120% direct damage and grant 30% charge damage attack. Follow up against the main target and 2 enemies with lowest HP. His ultra ultimate increase direct damage up to 150% and charge damage for 20%, and follow ups 3 times. An additional effect, every follow up heals 12% of his max HP, and his passive grant immunity against stun to the other allies in his row and grant immunity against extra damage to himself from round 3, and his extreme 5-star passive immune to stun for row and himself, and immune to extra damage after 1 round for himself only, and purple 5-star immune to stun for row and himself and immune to extra damage from the start for himself only. He is overpowered for hero side as well as for live clash. He immune to stun for row and himself and immune extra damage for himself. His passive is not that good. I already told you before starting the video. When we talk about chaos for F2Ps, we need to consider 2 things. How much does it improve the ultimate and how critical is the purple 5-star. For MB Plus, his ultimate is super good. For purple 5-star, is not that good. And he is very useful in both PvP and PvE. His ultimate and follow is very strong. Chaos gives him 12% heals after every follow up and increase chasing 3 times. And as for chaos, must get it. He will help you in training and hero cycle, and it is recommended for all players.